Welcome to this Saturday travel and history tip. And this Tuesday will be Flag Day. It is also President Donald Trump's birthday, so happy birthday. Flag Day is a celebration of the adoption of the American flag by the Continental Congress in the first flag resolution of June 14th, 1777. Although the 200-year anniversary of this date was celebrated by flying flags on public buildings and holding remembrances in several cities, Flag Day wasn't officially recognized until President Harry Truman signed it into law in 1949. And I want you to remember that Truman is also the one responsible for the Madonnas of the Trail. I did a Saturday travel and history tip on Flag Day in 2020, and I want to encourage you to go back and watch that because I went in a different direction as I am going to go today. Flag Day made me think about American history. As you probably have figured out, I love American history and geography. I think they're inseparably linked. And one of my favorite books is the Goody's World Atlas. And the other day we were listening to a radio program and they had recorded a man on the streets, and the gentleman was in Manhattan asking people that were generally in their 20s a few questions. One of those questions was, what countries border the United States? I believe he asked around 10 people all these questions, and only one could stumble through and actually said Canada and Mexico. I was just appalled. They were saying all kinds of crazy things like Ukraine and Japan, Africa. They were naming continents, states, and other countries in Europe. It was like, you've got to be kidding. But our northern border is Canada. Our southern border is Mexico. How can people not know this? But sadly, they don't. And I guess if you aren't taught, you just won't know. I want to encourage you to quiz your children, quiz your friends and neighbors, and say, hey, do you know what countries border our nation? You might be surprised that they don't know. It's hard for me to believe. I guess maybe some of you listening to this don't know that either, but I want you to know it's Canada to the north and Mexico to the south. And we enjoy going over the border in Mexico. There is also Alaska and Hawaii. And Alaska is actually bordered to the southeast by Canada and actually by Russia just across the Bering Strait. I really hope to go to the Bering Strait at some point in time. We really ought to know about the Bering Strait because Russia is just a stone's throw away from our nation and from a very important state, the state of Alaska. I often hear different radio hosts and people commenting and saying things about geography, and they just don't know where places are. And I don't expect you to have a degree in geography as I do, but it isn't just a class that you take in 6th grade and then forget. It is important to know where things are. I had one person one time, we were at the Atlantic Ocean in Maine, and they said that they were having trouble because of the elevation. Where we were was at sea level, and I've got to let you know that sea level is sea level. Whether you are at the Bering Strait, whether you are in Maine, whether you are in Florida, or whether you are in Texas, or whether you are in Tijuana, sea level is sea level. Has nothing to do with how far, quote, north you are. Just a little tip there. The lower 48, as they're commonly referred, are the continental U.S. states, and Alaska and Hawaii are always just kind of mapped out on their own. And we have had a wonderful time in the Inside Passage, which are the towns between Ketchikan and Skagway. And while in Skagway, we took a train ride up into Canada. There were some more questions that they asked these people along the street in Manhattan, and here are 5 of them. And if you don't know the answers, please look them up. To some of you might be rolling your eyes, as I was when I heard these young people didn't even know these answers. But sadly, this is the case, and we all need to learn these things. So if you don't know them, I hope this is compelling you to find out what are these answers. Number 1, what was the Cold War? Again, these are questions that they were asking these young people on the street. I don't think they got any of these correct. Number 2, when was World War II? Number 3, who is the president of Russia? Number 4, who is the president of Mexico? Number 5, what states or country borders your state? So I hope you'll take a little time and get the answers to these questions and quiz your neighbors and friends and people at church and just see what they know. We must learn our history. As I always say, American history. Learn it, love it, appreciate it. Don't let them steal our history. Treasure our American history. And one of the ways that they can steal our American history is by us not knowing it. If you appreciate our content, please tell others and repost on your social platforms. Our YouTube channel is Steve Groman. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell to be alerted when we post new nuggets and Saturday travel and history tips. And if you're specifically interested in one of our categories, go to the playlist. And I, of course, want to encourage you to go to the travel playlist where you can see all the Saturday travel and history tips that I have been putting up on YouTube and Facebook over the last several years. I hope you enjoyed this really quick history and geography lesson. Thank you.